All right, thanks, guys. We're coming off another board member victory yesterday on Patreon. That's going to put us at 11-6 in our last 17 board member plays, 65% over the past couple of weeks. So doing very well in that category there on patreon.com/BrockPage. Now we have some games to get into here for Saturday. We have a big wide slate of Major League Baseball action. We have college football going off today as well. There's a lot of sports going on. It is great. Best time of the year right now. Actually, the best time of the year is when NBA, college basketball, and NHL start to kick up as well. But this is a great time to be alive and a sports fan. So let's go ahead and get into some action, beginning with the Athletics taking on the Yankees. That's going to be a 1:05 Eastern first pitch in the Bronx. The Yankees are minus 180, totals 11. We have Homer Bailey for the A's, Domingo Germán for the Yankees. Germán 17-3 with 136 strikeouts. Bailey on the other side for Oakland comes into this matchup with a 5.04 ERA. Now, the Yankees are tied for the most wins in Major League Baseball. They're also 49-21 at home. They are 5-1 to the under in their last 6. So a little bit of some abbreviated stats there. I'm going to lean Yankees minus $1.80 and the under 11 runs in that game. Next matchup, Reds, Cards, 1:15 St. Louis. That is the first game of a doubleheader here this afternoon. The Cards are minus 145, totals at 9. We haven't seen a whole lot of movement on the total, but we did see a 10-cent move toward the Cards. They open $1.35 up to 145. Total opening remains at 9. We have Trevor Bauer for the Reds, Dakota Hudson for the Cards. Hudson's 13-6 with a 3.47 ERA and 106 strikeouts. Bauer on the other side comes into this game with a 10-11 record, 4.34 ERA. The Cardinals are first in the NL Central, 73-59 overall, 14 games over 500. They've also won 8 out of their last 10. Now the Reds on the other side, they're actually 10.5 games back in their division. They've won just 6 out of their last 23 ball games played at the current market price. And when it comes to the number, the Cardinals are 17-9 to the under when Hudson makes the first pitch. So with all that in mind, I'm going to lean Cardinals minus $1.45 and the under 9 runs in that game. And before we go ahead and move on, just want to take another quick time out and just once again welcome you to the show. Got some lines of Purslines out for Saturday's Major League Baseball action. It is Labor Day weekend. I know I'm feeling good. When I was driving home from the office yesterday from my real job, man, I was feeling like $1,000,000. Nice, long, extended weekend. Going to go to a nice little hamburger festival today, and I think the goal was, as my wife wakes up and shows me her boobs, I think my goal here today was 11 hamburgers. I think I wanted to eat 11 hamburgers today. So we'll set the line over under. We'll set it at 10.5. Over under 10.5 burgers. Huh?
Yesterday the goal was 4.
The goal was 4. Okay, so we'll set a more realistic line. We're gonna set the line at 4.5 hamburgers, and I'll keep you posted on that as I go to the Hamburger Festival. But anyway, got to remind you guys once again to check me out on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage. We hit another board member play last night. We're 11-6 in our last 17. That's 65%, and that's a good mix of favorites and dogs. We like to get plus money. So once again, link for that site is in the description section below. We do daily plays on that site. We have a bunch of different memberships and packages, and they begin at just $1.99 per month. But there's also plenty of free content there as well, including my current record. Link for that site is in the description section below. That is patreon.com/BrockPage. All right, let's go ahead and dive into some more lines of Purslines for Saturday's Major League Baseball action. All starts Eastern Standard Time, and as always, don't forget to hit that like button. That makes more people see us. The more likes I have, I guess the higher rating the video gets in the algorithm. I don't know. I still don't understand it, but likes are good. So go ahead and hit the like button. All right, we have the Brewers taking on the Cubbies. 2:20 Eastern first pitch at Wrigley Field in Chicago. The Cubs are minus $1.50, $1.55. No total as of yet currently posted. Now, we did see a 20-cent move towards Chicago in the early wagering. They open $1.35 up to minus 155. Once again, no line currently posted on the total. We have Zach Davies for the Brewers, Cole Hamels for the Cubs. Hamels comes into this game with a 7-4 record, 3.73 ERA, 115 strikeouts. Now, Davies on the other side, just 1-2 with a 5.14 ERA, taking on the Cubbies this year. And the Cubs are 3.5 games ahead in the National League for that second wild card spot. So if the season were to end today, they would be in the tournament. They've also won 7 out of their last 10 ball games. Now, the Brewers have won just 5 out of their last 13 head-to-head matchups with Chicago. They're also just 19-28 as the official road dog. So with all that in mind, I'm going to lean Chicago minus $1.55. Winning that one outright for some money line cash. Next game, Astros, Blue Jays. Did I even cap this one? Yes, I did. 3:07 Eastern first pitch in Toronto. The Astros are minus 175, totals 10.5. We have Framer Valdez for the Astros, Clay Buchholz for the Blue Jays. No, I did not say buttholes. I said Clay Buchholz for the Blue Jays. Now, Framer Valdez for the Astros comes into this matchup with a 4-6 record, 5.14 ERA. Certainly not of the caliber of the Astros rotation. So I think the Blue Jays should be able to keep it close here at home. I'm going to lean Toronto plus 1.5 and the under 10.5 runs in that game. Next matchup, Mets, Phils, 4:05 Citizens Bank Park in South Philly. The Mets are minus 115 on the road, totals 9.5. We saw a nickel move toward New York and movement upward on the total. The Mets open $1.10 up to minus 115. Total open 9 up to 9.5. We have Steven Matz for the Mets, Jason Vargas for the Phils. Vargas is 6-6 on the year, not too bad there, 96 strikeouts. Matz on the other side for the Mets comes into this matchup with a 4.06 ERA. Now the Mets are in 4th place in the NL East. They're 5 games back for that second wildcard spot in the National League. They have also won just 31 out of 70 away from home, and they've dropped 6 out of their last 10 ball games. A couple more things to add about the Mets, some disparaging figures. They've won just 5 out of their last 14 head-to-head matchups with the Phillies, and they're just 14-28 straight up, taking on teams between 460 and 540. Now the Fightin' Phils are 40-30 at Citizens Bank Park this year, and once again 9-5 in their last 14, taking on the Mets. Now total-wise, the Mets are 10-40 the over, taking on the Phils this year. I like the value and the plus money, especially with the Phils at home. Give me Philadelphia plus $1.05 in the over 9.5 in that matchup. Next game, Twins, Tigers, 6:10 Detroit. The Twins are just minus 140, totals at 9. We actually saw a nickel fade of Minnesota and movement downward on the total. The Twins open $1.45 down to minus 140. Total open 9.5 down to 9 flat. We have Martin Perez for the Twins, Matthew Boyd for the Tigers. Boyd's just 6-10 with a 4.47 ERA. Perez on the other side for Minnesota, 9-5 on the year, 116 strikeouts. The Twins are in first place in the AL Central. They are, 32 games over 500 at 83-51 overall for the year. They're also 44-22 when traveling. Now, the Tigers are the worst team in Major League Baseball. They're pathetic, and they might be arguably one of the worst teams in Major League Baseball in decades. They're really bad, and it makes me sick watching them on TV. Now, total-wise, the Tigers are 9-4 to the over, taking on the Twins. I'm going to lean Minnesota minus $1.40 and the over 9 runs in that game. Next matchup, Indians, Rays, 6:10 Tampa Bay. The Indians are minus 135, totals at 8. We have Zach Plesac for the Indians, Diego Castillo for the Rays. Now Castillo, as bad as his record's been, he comes into this matchup with a 3.76 ERA. He does have some good stuff at times. Tampa Bay's just one game back for that second wildcard spot in the very competitive American League. They're 20 games over 500, 78-58 overall, and they're also winning 62% of their games played at the current market price. Now, total-wise, the Rays are 80% to the over when Castillo makes the start. I'm going to lean Tampa Bay plus 1.5 and the over 8 runs in that game. Next matchup, Marlins Nationals 705 Washington. The Nats are minus 310, totals 8.5. We saw a 10-cent fade of the Nats in the early wagering. We also saw movement downward on the total. Washington opened 320 down to 310. Total opened 9 down to 8.5. We have Pablo Lopez for the Marlins, Steven Strasburg for the Nats. Strasburg's 15-5 with a 3.63 ERA and 201 strikeouts. Now Lopez on the other side for Miami, just 5-6 on the year, 4.41 ERA. The Nats are 2.5 games ahead in that first wild card spot. They are 75-58 overall, winners in 8 out of their last 10. Now the Marlins on the other side, they have the worst record in the National League. They're the worst team in the National League. Their style of baseball is pretty sad as well, and they are they're winning just 16% of their games played at the current market price. They've won just 18 out of 61 as the official road underdog. Now, total-wise, Miami 65% to the under when traveling. I'm going to lean Nationals minus 1.5 and the under 8.5 in that game. Next match.